Using a thermometer when you cook roast can help you achieve tender, juicy meat every time, but do you know the proper way to use them?
No idea, but luckily for us, joining us with Chef Secrets on thermometers, we have personal chef Bill Collins. ChefBill.com is your website. Are thermometers really that important? Because I never cook with them.
Well, yes, they are, although you can get away without using a thermometer. But a thermometer will give you the confidence and the accurate information you need. For instance, if you were to roast a chicken, so imagine an invisible chicken right here,
okay,
is the old rule of thumb is, how do you tell when the chicken is done, is you pierce the side between the leg and the thigh, and if the juices run clear, the chicken's done. However, that's not always the case, because very often when we roast a chicken, you know, the dark meat, the thigh, is not completely done. So then you're kind of going around back and forth to see if it is, and you put it back in the oven, and dinner's delayed. However, with a thermometer, you can take its temperature. 174 degrees around there, it's done, and you can take it out. So it takes the guesswork out completely.
But where do you want to measure the temperature of this bird?
Here's what you want to do is, if I were a chicken,
yes, okay, let's use you as a model.
Use me as an example of it. I'll just hop up on the counter there. Is really between the thigh and the leg. And so right in the dark meat there, and you put it right in between there.
Right there.
A little bit higher.
Okay.
So you're right about there. So that, if you were a chicken, and so that would tell you where to do it. Now, another thing, but you also mentioned roasts a few moments ago, and what you want to, actually, with any kind of thermometer, you put the thermometer in until it stops moving, until it stops, or temperature stops rising, then you know that's your temperature. However, when you put the thermometer in, say in a roast or whatever it is, how far in do you put it? Mm-hmm. And the answer is halfway in. Because what's going to happen is, you know, the heat's coming from the outside into a roast, for instance. If you put it all the way through, it's going to be hotter, you know, on the bottom or near the top. So in the middle is the temperature that you want to get.
Now, on all of these, are the gauges and the sensors at the tip?
It's the whole thing. And so, but the tip is fine. Especially if you have something thin, you say, what about all the rest of it? That's fine. This takes into account a long piece of food.
So it kind of computes the average or something like that?
No, it takes the temperature. Well,
because here's my nervousness. You say put it in the middle of the meat, like so. But if I'm putting just the tip into the middle of the meat, is it registering the temperature up here?
I'm sorry, the tip will do it. I mean,
the
whole
tip will
thing,
do it. Okay.
Yes. So yes. So I think the good answer, yes. We'll leave it at that.
All right,
and
we'll
do you actually measure it when it's in the oven, or do you have to take it out?
You can leave the oven door open.
Obviously, don't burn yourself.
Well, actually, you don't want to leave this in the oven, because those are different thermometers of the kind that you leave in and walk away. Because these were all with the plastics and other electronics in there. Those will melt and die. So you can open up the oven door and do it that way. But actually, it's more efficient for the oven. Pull it out, rest up there so the oven stays hot and doesn't cool down with the door open. But either way is fine. Just do not leave it in the oven.
Okay. Hey, Chef Bill, we have the full range here. You know, and I've seen thermometers for $5. I've seen them for $50. How do you know which one to get?
It really depends on what you're doing. This thermometer, this runs about $10.
Okay.
And you'll find it everywhere from a supermarket to specialty stores, everywhere. And if that's the only thermometer that you have, your life will be fine. And it will work just fine, because that tells you everything you need to know. The main range of foods, from freezing up to boiling water, it's unlikely you're going to do anything outside of that.
Oh, and this is nice. This one right here comes with all the cooking temperature points.
Exactly.
Ooh,
now,
that, right?
Fancy.
Yep, that is very fancy. But now here's the thing: the one you're holding, that's for a candy thermometer. And so if you're making candy, that's really helpful, because when you cook sugar, it gets to a screaming high temperature, about over 300 degrees, and these other thermometers don't go that high.
Well, this one also doesn't have anything to pierce a roast or anything, right?
Well, that is just the outer cover to protect it.
This is the tube.
And so, and that's a storage thing, but it's okay, Ashley, you're not a candy maker, so why would you know that? So, but this is really handy because it's got this handy dandy clip on here. And here's why it's helpful. Is you slide it down here, because this also brings into another category. Because right now, we're boiling this. And now you notice it's touching the bottom. You never want the thermometer
to touch the bottom,
because that's going to be where it's hottest. So if it's a pan on the stove, or...
So once again, we're going for the middle.
Exactly. And so this way, it's all going to be the same temperature going there, but you don't want it to touch the container, because the pan will be the hottest. And with a little luck, this is going to read at about 212 degrees.
208, 209. 210? This is the most excitement I've had here in a while.
Well,
212.
and it should be staying at 212. And so that's the temperature of
Look at that.
boiling water.
Up 213.
Uh-oh, it's too hot. This water's too hot.
Extra hot.
Extra hot.
Now,
So,
I don't actually. Oh,
but
That's a fancy one.
this is nice.
now the reason I have this one is because this is very accurate, but it can sometimes get out of being completely accurate or calibrated. This one, being digital and expensive, this is about $50,
Oh.
is completely accurate. So for instance, I did a dinner one time and it was about 75 people and I had beef tenderloins. And at about $20 a pound, I had to make sure that was cooked to the exact temperature I wanted. And if this one was off by even just a few degrees, that would be the big difference.
Wow, it's amazing a few degrees can make a difference. And
Exactly.
that a thermometer really does, actually is a good thing to have.
It's a very good thing to have. And one other thing, this can get out of calibration. And so what you want to do, comes with a handy dandy little sleeve, is you just put it in and check that way. And if you find that the temperature, now this is accurate because I just checked it, but if you find that it's not accurate, you'll see the way it's sitting there, you can turn that and adjust it. So this way you know that's 212 degrees.
And you base it off water because that's the
and you
most
rotate it to have that sit at 212.
Well, that's smart. Now, here's the big question, and the fact that Ashley and I haven't asked it yet, I think speaks to the fact that we're trying to get better about our sweets. There's chocolate there. Why is there chocolate there, and when can we eat it?
Well, you can eat the chocolate at any time now because here's the thing. When you're cooking with chocolate, there are a couple of things that were important. When I started melting this on the water right here, it's cooled down a little bit, but the temperature you want to melt chocolate at in a double boiler, because you don't want the chocolate to pull this up a little bit. You don't want the chocolate in the water. It started at 140 degrees.
And that's ideally the temperature that we would use?
Yes, that is. So that way, you can put it on there, because if you just put the chocolate over the scalding, boiling water, there's a chance you could, the chocolate will get too hot.
There we go, 146. You're a chef.
I am
Bill.
a chef. These things happen. Well, I do this for a living.
Well, thank you so much.
Now, what are we going to do with this chocolate?
Well, this way we also check the chocolate's temperature to see if it's tempered, and we take the chocolate's temperature. And when you melt chocolate, you want it, if you're going to be making nice chocolate candy, you want this at 89 degrees.
Well.
And this way it's a little bit too warm, because that's how you keep chocolate nice and shiny.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to eat it.
Yeah, so this was just for demonstration purposes, so if you want to eat the chocolate, I think you should give it a try.
Lunch is
Well,
served.
yeah, it's all the time we have. Tune in
Thank
next
you,
week for
Chef
even
Bill.
more Chef Secrets. Chef Bill, and for a copy of these tips, just head to our website, mymassappeal.com, later today.